First, we will start with the brine for the pork. Roughly chop 3 to 4 cloves of garlic and a roughly 2-inch knob of ginger. Be sure to peel the ginger before chopping. I find the best method to be with a small spoon. Next, in a 1-gallon Ziploc bag, add a 1/4 cup of kosher salt, 4 cups of room temperature water, 1/3 cup of maple syrup. Go for the good stuff if you have it. The chopped ginger and garlic, 2 teaspoons of dried rosemary, and 1 tablespoon of cracked black peppercorns. Add a 2.5 pound pork roast trimmed to fat into the bag. Zip up and place into the fridge overnight. Brining works by loosening up the muscle fibers in the meat so that they don't squeeze out the moisture during cooking. Next up is the roasted potatoes. Take 4 Yukon Gold potatoes, cut them down the middle and then again lengthwise, and then cut them into 1-inch pieces. Once more from a different angle. They don't need to be super precise, just don't slice them too thin. From there, add enough water to cover. Remember to salt the water too. Par cook over high heat until they start to soften. Drain and return them to the pot. I cooked these a few minutes too long and they started to fall apart a bit. Add some olive oil, black pepper, an Italian seasoning mix of your choice, and some rosemary. Place in a glass baking dish and set aside. In a 10-inch skillet, heat enough vegetable oil to coat the pan over medium-high heat. Take the pork out of the brine and pat it dry with paper towel. Once the oil is rippling, add the pork and sear, about 3 minutes per side. Then, place in a glass baking dish. In a small bowl, combine 2 tablespoons each of maple syrup and brown mustard, and add a few grinds of black pepper, brush the pork on all sides with the mustard glaze, and then place the pork and the potatoes in a 425-degree oven for about 45 minutes. While that's baking, we'll move on to the carrots. Take 1 pound of carrots and peel them. I know you're supposed to peel them away from you, but this peeler sucks and I'm using it more like a paring knife anyway. Once peeled, cut off the ends and slice on the bias into roughly 1/4-inch rounds. Cut them a little thicker as you get closer to the end to keep the overall mass consistent between each piece. By now, the potatoes and pork are about halfway done, so pull the potatoes and move them around a bit. Place the carrots in a skillet with 2 tablespoons of butter and a pinch of salt. Melt the butter, and then we're going to add our secret ingredient, Vernors. The original recipe calls for ginger ale, but when in Michigan, you use Vernors, which is basically really strong ginger ale anyway. If you don't have access to Vernors, use Canada Dry or something. Add about 1 cup of the good stuff to the pan. Bring to a boil and cook thoroughly until the Vernors has reduced into a thick glaze. When it's almost done, add a 1/4 teaspoon of chili powder. This adds a little earthiness and a hint of spice. Feel free to add more if you like a bit more heat. Take the pork out of the oven. You can take the potatoes out too right now, but a little extra cooking never hurt them. Cover in tin foil and let rest for at least 5 minutes. Be careful though, the pan is still hot. After it is cooled, slice into half-inch pieces and serve with the carrots and potatoes. This is easily my favorite meal to cook, and it's as stupidly good as it is easy to make.